Hello YouTube, it is me, Jordan. I am sorry, I'm really sick right now. Oh, today I am very sick, but I wanted to film a video because I haven't in a very long time, and pardon my voice because I sound like an old man. So that's good. I didn't know what kind of video to film, and then it hit me. You guys liked my crazy ex-best friend video. So I thought that, it was really fun to sit down and talk, so why not sit down and talk some more? I'm going to be talking about some of the scariest things that have happened to me, and I know a lot of it is just like me in my mind because I watch a lot of scary movies. That is my favorite thing to do. But some of it is kind of weird, and some of it involves other people, so yeah, let's just get into it. The first thing that I could think of that kind of just it's always in my mind because it was just so weird is when I was really little. I don't know how old I was sitting outside in my front yard with my friends, and we live right next to a highway. And so there's a sidewalk and then the cars, and it's right in my cul-de-sac of my house. And so we were just sitting outside minding our own business, and I started hearing screaming, and so I look up and there was a man kind of dragging a little girl. Not dragging on the floor, but he was holding her, kind of pulling her along, and she was screaming, "Daddy." And so I was young, so I thought maybe she was just being pulled by her dad, and she was screaming at him to tell her to stop, or tell him to stop. But now that I think of it, should I have done something? I don't know. There was definitely something wrong, and I feel like I should have done something. But I was little, so that would be story number one. So the next thing is kind of a bunch of different sequences put together to create this one really creepy thing. So when I was really little, in my elementary school, I was in line for lunch, and so I had looked behind me, and I saw just this black figure in the middle of the hall, but I didn't think much of it, and so I looked away, and then I thought that was kind of weird, so I looked back and it was gone. And that was just the first thing. In middle school, I was at volleyball practice with my best friend Lydia, and she remembers this, and we were both really freaked out by this. We were going to the bathroom, so we walked out of the gym, and there was just this red light in one of the windows to the computer lab. And that doesn't sound creepy because it could have just been a light from the computer, but it looked like a face, a red face was looking at us. And so I started running to the bathroom, and she followed me. I thought maybe she was just chasing after me because I was running away. But then when we got to the bathroom, she asked me, "Did you see that?" And so I said, "The red face," and she said yes. So I guess it wasn't just me. We both saw a red face in the window, and we both ran because we were scared. So that was that. And in another volleyball practice, there's a window to outdoor, and there's an alley door, and so one of the sides there's a dead end, and then the other side is it goes up to the parking lot. And so we were just sitting there, and there was a black figure, and it walked to the dead end, and it didn't go back, it just stayed at the dead end. And I asked Lydia, "Did you see that?" She said yes. We just kind of looked at each other. So that was the third time. I guess the second with the red face, it wasn't really the black figure, but it just it gives me the weird feeling. Every time I see this black figure, I get a feeling, and I got the feeling for that red face too. Again, in volleyball, we were driving to another school, and we saw, yet again, a black figure. And this time it was behind a car. It walked behind the car, and then we drove by it, and it was not there. So I don't know what it is, but it's kind of creepy. And again, it could be just my imagination, but when my best friend sees the same things, it's creepy. So the next thing that I thought of, I was again with my best friend Lydia, and we were sleeping at her house. She was in her bed, and she left, and I fell asleep thinking that she was gonna come back. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was faced towards the wall, and she was not there. And so I thought, oh, she probably just slept on the couch. And I turned around and it was really weird. I saw this red, short man standing like right in front of her door. And I just froze, like I couldn't move. It was the weirdest feeling ever. I could not move. But it, like, the man slowly started to fade into shadows. I know it was all in my mind, but it was just so, like, I got the creepiest feeling, and I couldn't move. And it wasn't sleep paralysis or anything. I was awake, but it was the weirdest thing ever. I do not have luck with tents whatsoever. This last story, I think, beats all of the stories. I was at my friend's house and we were in the backyard, and that night we watched a lot of scary movies and we were pranking each other. So we had 2 tents and they were faced towards each other, and 4 of us were in my tent, 4 of us were in the other tent. And then we had like 1 person asleep in the house because, I don't know, we're all pranking each other. And I think our tent was kind of obnoxious because we poured water on the other girls, and we had like whipped cream and all of like this crazy stuff stashed in our tent just in case. But eventually the other tent calmed down and I think they were actually going to bed. But we were still up. We were hoping that something crazy would happen to us. And it did. So we were just, I was on the far side of the tent, the far left side. All of a sudden we see these 2 shadows of people, and they were obvious, like it was obvious they were people. And they walked around the tent to my side and they just stood there and they stopped. And so we weren't really scared at the time because there was another tent of girls and we were pranking each other, so we thought it was them pranking us. And so they stopped and then they left and nothing happened. So we were like, okay, maybe in the morning we'll ask them what they did. So we fell asleep, and in the morning we sort of forgot about it. We went inside, we were eating breakfast, and then I remembered and I asked them, hey, what did you guys do last night? We saw you outside of our tent. And they said, what do you mean? We don't know. Like, we thought that was you. So they had heard them walking around the tent too, but they thought it was us. Made my best friend at the time swear on everything that it wasn't them. Everybody that was in the tent had stayed in the tent, and we stayed in our tent. So that means that somebody had gone into our backyard, random strangers, and walked around our tent. And just the feeling, like, I get chills now when I think about it, knowing that some random people were in her backyard while we were there. So those are my scary stories for this video. They're not as like paranormally creepy as I would like them to be, but I have a lot more, and I just don't want this video to be too long. I hope you guys like this video, and until next time, bye.